Dungeon Siege 3 by Obsidian Entertainment, New Vegas, Neverwinter Nights 2, KOTOR 2, with notable influence from publishers Square Enix. Like its predecessors, has attempted to distill the dungeon-crawling genre down to its base elements. Unfortunately, it has been stripped of the quirks that set Dungeon Siege apart, thereby casting the game alongside every other Diablo clone in existence. And this isn't a particularly thrilling one, by PC standards at least. Its saving grace seems to be that it's also on consoles, where Diablo clones are scarce. Instead of expanding on or improving the system outlined in Dungeon Siege 1 and 2, party-based with skills that improve through practice, it has instead implemented a watered-down iteration of Diablo 2 system. There are 4 character types, each with 9 skills, each skill with 5 levels of proficiency, and 10 talents, passive skills, each with 5 ranks. The effects are the bog standard offensive, defensive, and healing, with each rank or level of a talent or skill increasing damage by 4%, or healing rate by 4%, or by 10% in special circumstances, or defensive bonus by 4%. Assigning points is a thoroughly basic attribute balancing act, deciding whether to deal more damage, or absorb more damage, or heal more damage. There's no craft to the skill combinations and few, if any, distinctive ways to specialize. The dreaded Diablo 2 comparisons, a fate spared from Dungeon Siege 1 and 2 in my view because of their party-based gameplay and slightly different twists on character development, predictably doesn't bode well for Dungeon Siege 3, because the treasures, skill trees, character varieties, and gameplay were all superior in that game. And not just for its time 12 years ago, they still are, which explains my frustration as modern clones never live up to it, and Diablo 3 looks increasingly unlikely to be released within this galactic cycle. The only thing to have been developed is the graphics, now updated to passable current-gen standards. Well, whoop-de-doo, because we play top-down hack-and-slash games for the vistas, don't we? Developers outside of Blizzard seem unable or unwilling to grasp what makes dungeon hack-and-slash games tick, which is fluid gameplay, extensive loot tables, and varied character development paths. And, as Din's Curse has taught us, roguelike dynamic quests. It is not shiny, busy graphics, character exposition, invasive story, and a disorientating camera that moves in and out and around like an intoxicated spring toy. Dungeon Siege 3 pads out the gameplay with dialogue options and cutscenes in a meek effort to create a narrative equivalent to that seen within Dragon Age 2. Since the game is so wrapped up in its story, it might have considered telling a better one. You are a member of the famed 10th Legion, the remnants of which form 40 warrior wannabes that team together to train and plan to save the world, only to be killed by a feeble band of mercenaries. Not a plan with much potential, evidently. There's a survivor, revenge, bored, surf the web. Torchlight, although it didn't entirely capture the addictive qualities of Diablo 2, got the right idea when it just pointed downwards and said, monsters and lots of loot, kill! Maybe Torchlight had an actual story, I don't remember, but the game wasn't about that, and nor should Dungeon Siege 3 be. Why would it want to dwell on its story? There are far better role-playing games for that purpose, and there are better Diablo clones for your loot-amassing needs. What is this game trying to do? If you are a saint, this game can be begrudgingly forgiven for trying to fill a void in the console market. Platforms with few obsessive-compulsive number-counting games that have been so prevalent on the PC. Indeed, the shift in platform focus is blatant, and the betrayal of those who enjoyed what the series used to be explains the discrepancy between the Metacritic metascores and the user scores, telling a similar tale to the scores of Dragon Age 2. Dungeon Siege 3 is painfully inconsequential, a lazy if competent recycling of RPG elements done better elsewhere. But I can't call it bad. It's certainly easy to play with a simple tutorial and a Dead Space style guiding light when needed. The interface is functional and almost everything seems to work, although targeting on a PC is automatic. There's no mouse aiming and the controls are locked. It might even be fun if you adore these brands of games and have been otherwise starved of them on consoles, but for PC gamers I can't imagine how you justify wasting your time in this manner. I award Dungeon Siege 3 chocolate! Lots of chocolate! It's just labelled and packaged like chocolate, though it's actually petrified shit.